We are back with another Age of Mythology Retold point of view game. Today we're watching Iron Magic playing the Fuji against Attila, the Zeus. I'm not sure who Attila is, but he's like a 19 something hundred rated player, so obviously very, very strong on the ladder. Probably a smurf of somebody's, to be honest. But we are watching Magic. I wanted to see a Fuji game. China has been changed in pretty much every patch since China was released. I can't remember what the changes were this time, but I just wanted to see what kind of spot China is in. So we see Magic going in with the Fuji. I see him as more of a defensive kind of macro player, so it's interesting to see him go for the Fuji, as I would say that Noir is probably the most defensive version of China there is. But we do see that if you want to play some Fuji, something good to do straight away is get the Peach Blossom Spring out and away so that you get your circle of extra favor coming in. And also I think he might have built a house early on, and he did here. So just building that extra house just to get that extra favor. The reason that you kind of want to do this is that means that you can get your Kwafu out slightly earlier also, because it costs the 17 favor. So just the quicker you get these houses and silos up, the better. And then the basic build is the Chinese build's really, really simple. All food, Kwafu over to get 250 gold, then move over to the wood, then your next Kwafu comes over to gold. It's very, very simple. You can also do it the other way, get 150 wood, then move over to gold for the 250, but basically you just want 250 because that's enough for a temple and an extra Kwafu. We do see the map is Alfheim, which again is quite a defensive map, and the Pioneers doing a good job of scouting around. I don't know if we've seen any relics. We've got a small trickle of gold. It's something. Half a villager, not bad. And then cavalry hit points, which if China wants to go into cavalry in the Third Age, is very, very strong. Maybe not against Zeus, it's probably wanting to go decent amount of hoplites. But then does Zeus want to go hoplites against China with all their archers? Probably not. I would say that China probably Zeus probably wants to go into some kind of cavalry to deal with the Chinese lot. We're just having a little look around. Scouted pretty much every town center, which is nice. And we do see the Kwafu came out, move over to wood. Temple in a pretty defensive spot for any raids that might want to come through. I mean, a little house here will get that one right up. And then decides to go through Genu. So this is the one which gives you the fire-breathing myth unit, which can be very, very strong. We did see the opposite way when the game first came out, where they were going for those Yatsus or Yatsas. But now we seem to favor the other one just because that myth unit is ridiculously strong. It got buffed in a patch or so ago, completely unwarranted buff. It was very, very strong anyway. And then we do see Titan's Treasure, which, is something. It's an okay relic. So we're not seeing any super early aggro. 9 on the wood, but that's with no Kwafus, and then the 2 over here. So we could be seeing a potential second town center, or we could see the early Pioneer kind of rush into second town center, which is what quite a lot of these macro style players like doing, is they like to get a few Pioneers out to actually put some pressure on. But we do see that the relics are being picked up, the upgrade to get the relics. So this is the Titan's Treasure, going up to the next stage is cheaper. And then over here, he wants to be getting the small trickle of gold, then probably moving over to this town center. To be honest, it's not bad with the amount of deers on it. And it's the Chillin, which is the fire-breathing myth unit. And here it comes. Oh, unfortunately whiffs that one against the fast units. Also, we've got Kwafus not on auto queue, so completely scratch that, going for the next second town center. Machine Workshop up to get those fire archers out. The fire archers are very, very strong, especially if you're going against any sort of classical army. They are just extremely strong. Going up against Norse as well. Norse have a hard time against them. Interesting to not see the hero building to get Najar out nice and early. I think he's a very, very strong unit that you definitely want out as soon as you can. I think it's like 100 wood to get this bad boy up. We do see that's the Chilling gets bolted, but you can just expect that. Not much that you can really do. Bit of body blocking coming in on this Pioneer here, and he could probably run into the Sentry Tower. Unfortunately, gets a little bit confused with the pathing, or just the path blocking was just on point, so does lose out on that one. Fire Archer out. It's interesting to not see the second town center straight away, because it's something that I see Magic do quite often, but maybe he wanted the defensive building up just to make sure that this can go. Attila spots this one nice and quickly. There are some Hippias in this direction to try and stop it. Pioneer trying to get the Centaur, but gonna struggle. Now, one thing that did happen this patch is the ranged shields. So the shield upgrade is stronger. The Hippias have stronger shields. Sorry, not the shield upgrade is stronger. All cavalry got 5% bonus on their shield armor, so they are slightly better against raiding fire archers and things like that now. And we do see that this should be enough. We do have 10 seconds left on it though. Nice bit of micro there to try and get the Centaur away, but not enough. And just going to kite those for the last 3 seconds, and it should be absolutely fine. Not going to lose anything. Nice play by Magic, not to just rush that one up. The thing is, it is better to rush up the town center if you know that you're going to get it up for free, basically, because you get the extra minute of actually gather time. But there's a chance that you'll just lose the game right there and then. We've even seen it in some tournament games where some players, I think it was Recon versus the Mister, he went for a straight town center and lost the game in 6-7 minutes. And that isn't where you want to be. Nice little linkage here as well with the military camp. Probably getting those out to get some halberdiers out. Halberdiers very, very strong against the cavalry. Looks like there was a little raid here. One villager going down. The Chinese villagers are weaker. They only have 50 HP, so they are pretty susceptible to raids early on. You can get this upgrade now, but obviously, it's, especially if you've got 2 town centers, you don't really want to get this survival equipment. It's just costs too much right at the start of the game. Just better to get your watchtowers up, get some defensive units, and then keeping the Peach Blossom Spring. Also, the longer you leave this guy, the more resources it gets. You can normally use it to sit in your base, and once this gold mine's gone, you can just move over to that one and be absolutely fine. So we do see ourselves in a pretty defensive situation here. Building-wise, very, very strong. Medium Hippias in for the opponents, though. But even just a couple of halberdiers are scaring this one off. Now, one thing I do want to see is he doesn't have the training yard. Now, something that I found when I play China is you barely need any buildings at all if you get this training yard upgrade. It's basically like Levy on steroids. Like it builds units so quick. Unfortunately, it doesn't move those over. Doesn't lose one though. Potentially did. Yes, he did. Buried underneath the cow. So some good raids coming across from the Zeus, but we can assume with this amount of units that he is still 1 town center, and we can see because we're cheating, we're not actually Magic. We can see that he is only on the 1 town center still. Even deciding to get some farms up. There is Hunt pretty close, but he just decided he doesn't want to lose any units, any villagers to the potential raids. So playing it very, very safe back here instead. Nice little use of these Sky Lanterns also. So now it's just a case of just trying to defend these potential raids. There could be a potential option for the enemy Zeus player, which we actually do see, of some kind of heroic timing push with the bronze. That could be very scary, but what you can do is you could just sack the town center. Magic's already put in the buildings in a very defensive position. He's put the market, the house there, the military camp. So if any of these Hippias want to come and attack this, then they're going to struggle to actually surround it. The thing is that is interesting that he is building farms on his 2nd town center, which if you were to just leave this town center alone, you really don't want to be leaving the investment of a few hundred wood here and then having to rebuild those in your main base. But he does have a decent amount of cows, still left 2 elks here, and the berry bushes, and the potential for a peach blossom spring for food. But he probably does want the gold instead. But still, it's got so many options as the Fuji. Also getting those eco upgrades in, just spamming those out now, and trying to get some more halberdiers out. No excessive scouting or anything, because the top players, they just normally know what is kind of coming for them. I think most lower level players are going to go out and have a look, but that's not something that Magic feels like he needs to do. No real upgrades either. Potentially looking to go just with this split, potentially wanting to look for the 3rd age to maybe get Go Mang, which is the one where you get your forest protection on your town center. We do see a pretty big raid coming up here. Unfortunately, camera work. My camera work could be a bit better. We definitely lost a couple of villagers there. but 20 villager lead because of just the two town centers to one for so long. Interesting to not see just a little cheeky wall here, but deciding against that one, doesn't want the investment of that. Now does bring most of his units here, but I would imagine Third Age wanting to come through, Go Mang, very, very strong Third Age, and then probably we see the farming upgrade yet. So we'll be seeing that one very, very shortly. You can also tell just because there's no more units being built, there's no more upgrades for these units, just basically sitting on what he's got and will be absolutely fine. Does have to worry about the potential bronze timing attack coming at any point in the future, especially as the one town center player on the other side. He's got to make some sort of decision to attack at some point. You can't just sit back, otherwise the two town center Fuji is going to win every day of the week. We do see survival equipment. It comes through in 5 seconds, which is pretty crazy. Camera work's not on point. Apologies for that, but no raids happening there. Do you see? It's just basically pure hippies. We have Thracian horses, spirited charge, all of the copper upgrades. He has the extra base hit points for the cavalry as well, so they are extremely strong. 203 HP. The halberdiers need to be putting in some work. Just because of the classical age that Magic did choose, he didn't choose the other god, which gives the extra bonus damage for these halberdiers. But what he maybe could do is when he sacks this town center, if and when he actually does, but the defensive positions are pretty good, he could use the Vanish just to run away and be absolutely fine there. But he's really trying to sit on this one and not lose it. Also making a really good position for some of his pioneers. Something that you probably don't see enough, especially with China, because you're incentivized to build something here for extra favor, build something here. But actually, what Magic is also doing is he's saving his favor. He's potentially saving that so he can get another Peach Blossom Spring to get more gold. So he's not deciding to get many Quafus out at all. Or maybe he wants to go for the Taowu myth units that can be extremely strong in fights. They basically bulldoze everything out of the way, and they're very fun myth units to use. But more defensive buildings coming up. Heavy inventory. We do see that the Peach Blossom Spring is finished. Does he drop another one? Because he will have to go out onto this gold mine eventually. I mean, he has 1,000 gold right now. We do see Naja coming out now. The Heroic Age version. So a little bit stronger. Can choose to be ranged if they really want to. Catascopus going in. Getting the Taowu special. Interesting to see Magic, somebody that doesn't value changing this off of auto cast of the special. I would expect top players to do that, but every time that I watch top players, they don't seem to use that manually, which just seems like a no-brainer to me. But we do see bronze. They are getting forced out by this halberdier, and this is it. The Vanish is in. Oh no, and he misclicked. That's so unfortunate. Misclicked the deer, so all of these guys that shot came back visible, and now he's going to lose so many units. Just one little misclick and loses so many units for that. It was such a good play with the Vanish, but unfortunately does miss out there. And now these 50 armor, 68 armor, absolutely disgusting. 210 health. Is that Bucknalia or Dionysia, whatever it's called now? Disgusting. But we do see it's a pretty good surround with that forest protection. None of these guys actually managing to attack. We have the healing for the buildings. And what a great position here. I think the hippies should just run away. There's just no reason for this. Or they should be attacking the military camp or something. They're just sitting there just waiting to get attacked by these counter units. All the archers pretty much went down earlier, so maybe that's the reason that he wants to push in. But it just seems like a bit of a mistake. There's just no reason to. Watchtower's putting in decent damage also. They're just not getting much damage at all. And that's thrown away a massive advantage for the one town center Zeus. I think even just maybe getting out an extra Hydra just to make sure that you can take down the military camp. It's also done it on a house, which I love putting it on random buildings that you kind of need to check. You can see from the UI that you can see that this is green. This is the actual the one that's you've used the forest protection on, but you also see cheeky little gold operations been spotted by the Pegasus here, but that gives just enough time to move down to this gold mine, and then the halberdiers, strong counter units to these hippies. They don't fully counter them as much as you would think, because the Hippias just have so many upgrades, whereas the Halberdiers, that they just don't. They don't have all of the extra special minor god upgrades like these Hippias do. But still doing well. Narjar against the Hydra just goes down instantly, and that gives Magic enough time to get this gold mine. And now he's just in a commanding position, because the one town center player has lost 2 fights on the bounce, and that just means that this gold mine is now secured. And that is the one thing that you need as the eco player, is you just need access to your next gold mine or next resource of any kind, and that is the gold mine. Bowlay gets dropped down, Magic can just sit back and chill, be absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about in this game now. Maybe it can just be not overextending is probably the next part, making sure that you get in your eco upgrades, which he hasn't got now, but I'm sure will be coming in once this bow lays up. Was more important to get the units out rather than getting those eco upgrades in. But I imagine that he will be soon. And then White Horse Cavalry, very gold heavy units. I think 85 gold, which is pretty ridiculous. But with this next gold mine secured, not really a problem. Also, still saving that, which is interesting. And we do see Vibrant Land coming through, which is probably one of the best upgrades there is. It makes wood spawn next to your houses like this, and it's just so strong. Basically, you can sit there for pretty much ever and always have wood. Maybe not with this many villagers, but with a handful of villagers, if you put all your houses together, it can be very strong. Now, pushing out, even getting another gold mine, another bow layup in a very good position. It looks like Attila is trying to get this position here just to secure Magic's 3rd town center. Also see some Hippaspis out. Hippaspis, obviously a huge counter to the Halberdiers here. This scout is doing pretty well with his 8 HP, still alive. We do see that it is mainly Hippias still, so Halberdier absolutely fine. Looks like Magic still doesn't want to fight. I mean, he can see that this army is pretty big. The Halberdiers, obviously ridiculous against those Hippias, but even the unupgraded Hippaspis with their 5 times damage multiplier is just too scary to fight with this. He just needs some more horses out, and then those horses will absolutely counter those Hippaspis nicely. But even the Quafus could just turn around and be fine. Fighting underneath the Bowlay. The Bowlay could probably target down the Hippaspis if he wanted to do some extra micro, just to get the bonus damage against something that doesn't have much pierce armor. Looks like he's doing well in this fight anyway. Kind of kiting around to those Hippaspis, make sure that his units don't get melted, but we do see that they turn around and don't actually lose their lives. Very nice play. And a 3rd Bowlay coming up. I mean, the 3 Bowlays, it's a pretty good idea considering they do secure 2 gold mines. The only thing that's really going to take this out is either some ranged siege over the trees or an earthquake that's probably not going to come off of the one town center player. And winning this fight, kind of trading evenly, but trading evenly as the player with 40 more villagers is always the play. And he's got so many resources, just looking to go to the next stage, and the Zeus player decides that isn't it. I think this was all the defensive play here, knowing that the bronze timing was obviously going to come, playing around it, and then unfortunate with that vanish also. He would have handily won. If that vanish and he wouldn't have misclicked against the deer, it would have been nice there. We just see that, I mean, this was just all about the eco, to be honest. I can never find the timeline. There it is. And we go across to all resources collected, and it's just boom. Oh, Moose in the blue. He lost this one. But that was it, and I'll see you in the next one.